press freedom in Asia. But as China tightens its grip on the city, journalists fear they can no longer speak truth to power. Journalists fear they can no longer speak truth to power.
Today is a very dark day to all journalists in Hong Kong.
Free speech in Hong Kong. What can you say? What can you not say? Free speech in Hong Kong. What can you say? What can you not say?
Publishers, journalists, and media executives put behind bars. Journalists and media executives put behind bars. And news organizations forced to shut.
A dangerous occupation. It has for people who are still interested in reporting the facts. For people who are still interested in reporting the facts.
The government insists it's just doing its job.
Journalists and media organizations like all of us. Journalists and media organizations like all of us have to respect and comply with the law.
101 East tracks the demise of Hong Kong's free media. 101 East tracks the demise of Hong Kong's free media. For 2.5 decades, Hong Kong put away national security law, a charge that could knew the legislation could be used against him, but he chose to remain in legislation could be used against him, but he chose to remain in Hong Kong. He spoke to Al Jazeera while out on bail.
Freedom has given me the opportunity to create what I have today. I'm not going to leave. I'm very grateful to this place. Now I'm not going to leave. For me to pay back this maybe. That I have to sacrifice.
Apple Daily was able to survive and even thrive because of Hong Kong's was able to survive and even thrive because of Hong Kong's Britain handed its former colony back to China in 1997. Britain handed its former colony back to China that the city would be governed under a formula known as one country, the two systems would be governed under a formula known as one country, freedom of assembly, of expression, and of the press are enshrined in Hong Kong's own constitution, and of the press are enshrined in Hong Kong's own constitution. Arrived in Hong Kong 10 years before the handover. Steve Vines arrived in Hong Kong today. 10 years before the handover. A time when Beijing kept its promises. He still remembers a time when Beijing kept its promises.
Liberty. Hong Kong had this heady air of liberty. You could say what you liked, read what you liked, you could travel freely. Say what you liked, read what you liked, and into that heady mixture travel freely. Was this extraordinary, and into that heady mixture media was this extraordinary, large media.
But Hong Kongers did not have democracy, and for years, Hong Kongers did not have democracy peacefully, and for the right to vote, millions fully free elections campaigned peacefully for the right to vote in fully free elections. Then, in 2019, increasing fears that China was eroding Hong Kong's autonomy and judicial independence. China was eroding Hong Kong's autonomy and violent protests. The National Security Law, which criminalizes terrorism, secession, subversion, and collusion with foreign forces, was introduced in 2020. Massive, sometimes violent protests. Critics feared it would stifle the Security Law, which criminalizes terrorism, secession, subversion, and collusion with foreign forces, was introduced in 2020. Critics feared it would stifle dissent and Hong Kong's cherished freedoms. The government disagreed. Less than 2 months later, 200 police raided Apple Daily. Journalists inside live-streamed this footage. Officers searched. Less than 2 months later, 200 police raided arrested a senior executive. Journalists led a handcuffed Jimmy Lai through the building. Officers searched the newsroom.
Even when I was handcuffed,
arrested a senior executive.
In a handcuff, and I did not feel.
And led a handcuffed Jimmy Lai through the building. He was accused of colluding with foreign forces.
Even when I was handcuffed, well, I definitely have parade me here and there, officers, in a handcuff, but I did not feel this collusion. I cannot have it. of insult. He might be
He was accused of
collusion
colluding with foreign
talking
forces.
to you now, accepting well, I definitely have met foreign officers. That's totally according to what collusion, what they define it. It might be a
Lai
collusion.
was released after
talking
being
to you
detained
now,
for more than 40
accepting your
hours.
interview.
He would be arrested
that's
again
totally
several
according
months
to
later
what they-
on fraud allegations
define
and his
it.
bail revoked. The journalist Lai was released after being detained for more than 40 hours.
News media in Hong Kong
He would be
were
arrested
powerful.
again several months later on
They have
fraud
been
allegations and
influencing
his
public
bail
opinion for
revoked.
many years. Say
To
if
journalist
you have
Chris
a
Cheng,
government
the
scandal
implications
to
of the raid were
disclose,
clear.
The first news media in Hong Kong most likely would go to Apple Day. They're going to tell you what you need to know. They're going to give you for many years of the views. Say if you have a government scandal to just not allowed disclose, the first thought most likely you would go to Apple Day. They're going to tell you what you need to
Hong
know.
Kong's
They're going to
journalists
give you a
soon
different
discovered
side
that
of the
activities
views.
once considered
And
routine were
maybe
now
that's
not allowed.
just not allowed by the government.
In November 2020, authorities charged documentary filmmaker Bao Choi with making false statements soon to obtain data that activities once considered routine were now not allowed. She had been investigating a mob attack November against 20 government authorities charged journalist documentary filmmaker Bao Choi took place making during the 2019 protests. She had been investigating a mob attack against anti-government demonstrators, allegations of misconduct passers-by that took place during the 2019 protests. Police arrived only after the violence had subsided. Choi's award-winning documentary attempts to uncover the truth of what happened that night.
Hong Kong Connection made car license plate checks and found out ordinary
As
people
part of her
in the
research,
West Rail
she
station.
used a public database
evening
to
of
track
7/21,
down owners of cars. Choi's award-winning documentary attempts to uncover the truth
Registered
of what
owner is
happened
Tang
that
Fai
night.
Tai. Hong Kong Connection made
Police
car
said
license
she'd
plate
made a
checks
false
and
statement
found out
in order to
seven-
get
part
that
of her
information. She used a public database to track down owners of cars. Choi pleaded in the vicinity of the attack, but the judge disagreed.
Registered owner is
She
Tang
was
Fai
ordered
Tai,
to pay a fine
village
of around
representative.
$770 in order to
To
get
me,
that
it's very
information.
heartbreaking that the magistrate or the court knew that searching
Choi
public
pleaded
information or
not guilty,
access to public
but the
data
judge
is no longer
disagreed. She was
allowed
ordered to
in
pay a fine
Hong
of
Kong.
around $770 because of her brush with the
To me,
law.
it's
Choi
very
was
heartbreaking
suspended
that
from
the
her freelance
magistrate or the
position
court
at
knew
public
that
broadcaster
searching public
RTHK.
information or access to public data
For
is
decades,
no
the
longer
organization had
allowed
operated with
in
relative autonomy.
Hong Kong.
But now, because of her brush with the law, Choi was suspended from her freelance position at public broadcaster RTHK. For decades, the organization had operated with relative autonomy that this man would be the new head of RTHK. Scrutiny from the government. Patrick Lee was a civil servant with no journalism or broadcasting experience. In February 2021, the government announced that this man would be the new head of RTHK.
Content before it went out on air.
Patrick Lee was a civil servant with no journalism or broadcasting experience.
Described as a government critic. From day one, directives were issued.
Vines was a familiar presence on RTHK.
Hello, and welcome to the Post.
He was a political affairs commentator on radio and for 15 years host of the popular current affairs talk show The Pulse. Vines was a familiar presence on RTHK, program where diverse views were regularly heard. He was a political affairs commentator on radio and for 15 years host of the popular current affairs talk show The Pulse. Vines says things changed with Lee's appointment, a program where diverse views were regularly heard and challenged.
But we didn't expect that the police would use such a
so many
violence
taboo
to
subjects
oppress
that it
us.
was just safer to
Vines
do
says
something
things
that
changed
didn't
with
upset
Lee's
anybody.
appointment.
Oh, and by
It
the
was
way,
becoming
didn't really
ridiculous.
interest
We
anybody
couldn't
either.
really, from
do
the team
what I
and me,
consider
it's been our
serious
honour.
Work.
The
There were
Pulse
so
and
many
several other
taboo
RTHK
subjects
programs
that it was just
have since
safer to
been
do
taken
something
off air.
that didn't upset anybody.
In an email to 101 East, RTHK said it enjoys editorial independence at the corporate level, and several other RTHK programs have since been taken off air. The highest professional standards of journalism. In an email to 101 East, it also said RTHK's editorial process enjoys editorial independence at the corporate level. Program-related complaints and upholds the highest professional standards of journalism. It also said its new editorial process was working effectively, and that program-related complaints had dropped significantly. The broadcaster declined to comment on Bao Choi's case.
今朝早大約7點鐘就已經嚟到《蘋果日報》㗎啦。咁而家《蘋果日報》咧就俾佢圍封住咗。
In June 2021, authorities raided Apple Daily's headquarters a second time. Inside, journalists scrambled to live stream the raid. In June 2021, authorities raided Apple Daily's headquarters a second time. Inside, journalists scrambled to live stream the raid. An official from the National Security Department addressed members of the press. An official from the National Security Department addressed members of the press. The 5 Apple Daily employees made the front page of their own newspaper the following day. Their alleged crime, publishing articles calling on members of the international daily community to impose the front page of their own newspaper the following day. Their authorities also publishing articles calling on members of the international community to impose sanctions on China and the Hong Kong government. Authorities also froze assets belonging to Apple Daily and its related companies, as well as accounts linked to founder Jimmy Lai. Less than a week later, police arrested another Apple Daily employee, this time an opinion writer. The same day, the newspaper announced it was printing its final edition. Police arrested another Apple Daily employee. Apple Daily journalists and opinion writer came as no surprise. The same day, the newspaper announced it was printing its final reporter. For many Apple Daily journalists, the decision came as no surprise. For security reasons, we're not identifying this reporter.
因為我哋其實每日都喺度倒數緊嘅，我覺得由我哋仲偏俾人拉開始啦，我哋俾人 frozen 咗啲錢啦，咁嗰陣就已經喺度諗。